Chosen one, imagine this. Doors that have remained sealed for centuries. Doors that even presidents, senators, and world leaders struggle to open have swung wide for you. The White House, the fortress of policy, the epicenter of global decision-making, the seat of authority that shapes nations, has extended an invitation, not a courtesy, not a ceremony, but power. They have offered you a position. Pause and let that sink in. The corridors where generals whisper, where advisors debate, where pens sign documents that shift the destinies of millions, those very halls are calling your name, not as a guest, not as a tourist, not even as a consultant on the fringes, but as one position within, entrusted with influence. Do you feel the weight of it? Men and women spend their entire lives clawing for recognition, begging for a seat at tables of power. They build careers, compromise convictions, trade integrity for access, and even then, the gates remain closed. Yet here, in this prophetic moment, the invitation bypasses the powerful, the famous, the wealthy. It has landed at your feet. Chosen one, this is not political fantasy. This is not the fruit of lobbying resumes or earthly credentials. This is divine orchestration. Heaven itself has turned the lock. The place where history bends is bent toward you. The world may see offices and titles. Prophecy sees something greater, alignment. And when heaven aligns, even the most guarded throne rooms of earth cannot resist. Washington, D.C., a city carved from stone and ambition. Marble columns rise like sentinels, guarding corridors where nations' futures are decided. Behind the iron gates and guarded checkpoints, the White House stands, not just a building, but a symbol. To billions watching around the globe, it is a heartbeat of power, the lighthouse of policy, the very nerve center where whispers become wars and signatures become destinies. Inside its walls, every step echoes with history. The Oval Office, a room few eyes ever behold, where portraits of past presidents watch silently from gilded frames. The Situation Room, where generals sketch the fate of continents on glowing screens. The Cabinet Room, where men and women argue in hushed tones about decisions that ripple to every corner of the earth. These are spaces where access is not granted, it is guarded. Even senators are ushered in sparingly. Even diplomats wait years for a single handshake in its corridors. And yet, in this very place where voices tremble and pens hesitate, your name is written. Imagine the scene. Senior advisors pause mid-conversation, glancing at a document no one expected. A letter, drafted on White House stationery, waiting for a signature. The ink is black, the seal embossed in gold. The room is silent, save for the scratching of a fountain pen about confirm what history has never seen. Not a senator, not a billionaire donor, not a lifelong strategist, but you, chosen one, being offered a position. The world outside hums unaware. Tourists snap photos through iron fences. Reporters pace the press room, chasing rumors. Helicopters rumble overhead. But behind those guarded doors, the decision has already been made. They are not extending this offer for politics as usual. They are extending it because destiny has demanded it. Think of it. Leaders who pride themselves on calculation now feel compelled by conviction. Men who normally bend statistics now bow to something they cannot measure. The offer letter is not born strategy. It is born a surrender to a force they cannot name but cannot deny. And that force is the prophecy resting on you. Chosen one, the White House does not make casual invitations. Every gesture is deliberate, every appointment strategic. And yet here you stand, not in their plans, not in their projections, but in their hands. A seat has been cleared, a door unlatched, a place carved out that only you can fill. The world may not know it yet. Reporters may scramble when the news breaks. Advisors may whisper, this should not be happening. But in the halls of the most guarded house on earth, The impossible is already unfolded, and all heaven is watching. Chosen one, pause and remember, what is open for you is not just a political seat, it is a prophetic sign. For Scripture has long declared that heaven appoints rulers and raises leaders beyond human comprehension. It is God who judges. He brings one down, he exalts another. Psalm 75, verse 7. In every age, kings, presidents, and prime ministers have thought themselves secure. They surround themselves with armies, advisors, and wealth, yet all their power rests on breath borrowed from God. And when he decides to exalt the humble, no fortress of policy or politics can resist. Do you recall the words of Daniel? He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. Daniel 2, verse 21. That word was not metaphor, it was a law of heaven. Thrones are not permanent. Crowns are not eternal. Only God's decree is final. And today, that decree is bending the White House toward you. Even Jesus declared, "The last shall be first, and the first shall be last." Matthew 20, verse 16. Those who claw for power, who scheme for influence, who chase the spotlight, will watch in disbelief as heaven's spotlight falls on you. Not because of pedigree, not because of policy, but because prophecy has chosen you. Think of Joseph, a prisoner forgotten by Pharaoh's courts until the moment destiny summoned him to interpret a dream. In one day, he went from the dungeon to the throne room, from chains to command. Think of David, a shepherd boy ignored by his own father, overlooked by prophets, yet anointed as king while warriors trembled. Heaven delights in lifting the unexpected, and now prophecy repeats. The pen that hovers over your offer letter is no ordinary pen. It is an extension of divine handwriting. Heaven has written long before that a season would come where you, the chosen one, would stand in places never meant for you by human design. The White House offering you a position is not about politics. It is about proof. Proof that the word of God overrides every system of man. The humble shall be exalted. Matthew 23, verse 12. Kings shall see and arise. Princes also shall worship. Isaiah 49, verse 7. Do you see it? These verses are not just ink on ancient parchment. They are living decrees, vibrating through time, manifesting in your life. You are standing at the collision point where eternity interrupts history. And this is the mystery. They believe they are offering you an office, but heaven declares it differently. They are bowing, without realizing, to the authority upon your life. Every offer, every handshake, every invitation, these are acknowledgments of a higher power they cannot name. Chosen one, understand this. You have not been called for politics, but for prophecy. The seat they extend to you is not theirs to give, but God's to assign. And when God assigns, who can resist? The White House itself has become a stage where heaven's decree is proven true. Chosen one, do not mistake this moment as a mere honor or ceremonial gesture. The White House does not deal in symbolism alone. When they extend a position, they extend power. And when heaven places you in that seat, the meaning runs deeper than policy, deeper than party, deeper than politics. This is not about holding an office. It is about holding influence, the power to shape conversations that ripple across oceans, to influence decisions that affect millions who may never know your name, but will feel the echo of your presence. Every nation has an epicenter, a place where decisions are made and history's rewritten. For the United States, that place is the White House. From its rooms, wars have been declared and ended. From its podiums, policies have reshaped economies, cultures, and even the moral compass of the world. From its pens, treaties have redrawn the maps of nations. And now, by divine orchestration, you've been brought into that sphere. What does this mean? It means that heaven's justice is entering the conversation. It means that balance, often neglected by politics, is being reintroduced. It means that voices drowned out by lobbyists and silenced by money will find their echo in you. Where advisors argue in numbers, you will speak in wisdom. Where leaders wrestle with fear of polls, you will carry fear of the Lord. Chosen one, this is not about party lines or partisan agendas. It is about heaven placing its fingerprint on the center of earthly governance. When you sit at that table, the unseen presence of God sits with you. When you walk into those rooms, the atmosphere shifts. Where others see strategy, you carry prophecy. Where others see obstacles, you see decrees. And the ripple does not stop in America. The White House is not merely a national institution. It is a global lighthouse. Decisions made their ripple outward, altering trade in Asia, alliances in Europe, security in Africa, resources in South America. Policies crafted in those rooms dictate what currencies rise, what industries fall, what borders hold, and what borders shift. By placing you in its midst, heaven is not only addressing a nation, it is addressing the world. The implication is staggering. Your presence is a pivot point, not because you chase influence, but because influence chases the prophetic mantle. Laws may subtly bend, cultures may unconsciously shift, economies may realign, all because you carried heaven's resonance into the heart of power. Do you understand now? This is not vanity. This is not ambition. This is assignment. Assignment that redefines what it means for the humble to be exalted. Assignment that proves prophecy does not speak in metaphors. It speaks in movements of nations. Assignment that makes the impossible bow before the inevitable. Chosen one, the White House offer you a position is not merely history. It is heaven making history bow. Chosen one, you may wonder, why me? How could something so vast, so impossible, be directed toward my life? Yet heaven always leaves fingerprints. Before the White House ever extended its hand, smaller signs began whispering your identity. Look closely, and you will see you have been marked all along. Have doors opened suddenly for you, doors you never knocked on? Have invitations come your way without explanation? These are not coincidences. They are signals. When destiny approaches, it clears a path before you, rearranging meetings, creating encounters, and placing you in rooms you did not apply for. Have you noticed how people respond to you without understanding why? Perhaps in gatherings, conversations pause when you speak. Perhaps leaders far above your rank have sought your counsel. Perhaps strangers confess they feel peace or clarity in your presence. They may not know the reason, but heaven does. The mantle resting on your life commands recognition. Synchronicities surround you, numbers aligning, timings unfolding with precision, moments where you arrive by accident, yet discover was appointment all along. This is heaven's orchestration. The same unseen hand that now writes your name into the story of nations has been rehearsing these smaller confirmations to train your spirit to recognize its signature. Even resistance has been a sign. Have you felt battles you cannot explain? Have doors slammed in your face just before greater ones opened? This too is proof. Hell does not fight what heaven has not chosen. The warfare around your life is the evidence of your assignment. Consider Joseph. His brothers betrayed him. Potiphar's house imprisoned him. Yet every opposition was merely repositioning him toward Pharaoh's court. Consider David. Overlooked by his family, chased by Saul, yet each rejection was sharpening him for kingship. The very resistance you've endured is the echo of destiny, preparing the stage. Chosen one, these are your signs. Sudden invitations, unexplainable favor, recognition without effort, synchronicities confirming timing, resistance refining your spirit. They may look ordinary in isolation, but together they form a pattern only prophecy can weave. The same God who aligns stars over Bethlehem now aligns details in your life. These signs are not meant to confuse you. They are meant to confirm you. Do not dismiss them as chance. Do not belittle them as random. They are the whispers of a story too great to announce all at once. And now, the whispers become a roar. The same patterns that open small doors are now opening the highest doors. If the White House offers you a position, it is because heaven already marked you long before the invitation reached their hands. Chosen one, look back at the trail of signs and you will see it clearly. You were chosen before you knew what chosen meant. Chosen one, now close your eyes and see it. Not as fantasy, but as unfolding reality. Walk with me through the vision. You approach the White House gates. The iron bars that keep millions at a distance swing open at your arrival. Guards who normally scrutinize with suspicion instead nod in recognition, as if they somehow know your presence has been pre-cleared by a higher authority. The line of tourists craning for a glimpse of history watches as you pass, unaware that they are witnessing history itself walking through the threshold. Inside, the air feels heavier, charged. Hallways gleam with polished marble, chandeliers casting light that seems brighter in your presence. Advisors hurry past with folders tucked under their arms, whispering about global crises, economic strategies, security briefings. Yet when you step into the corridor, conversations pause. Eyes lift, posture shifts. Something unseen demands their respect before a word leaves your lips. You enter a briefing room. Around the table sit men and women who have spent decades mastering policy, strategy, and law. These are experts, seasoned and sharp. Yet as you take your seat, a subtle shift ripples across the room. They lean in closer. They pause before interrupting. They find themselves waiting, almost unconsciously, for you to speak. Not because of your resume, but because of the resonance you carry. When you open your mouth, it is not mere opinion. It is wisdom clothed in authority. You speak with a clarity that cuts through confusion, with a simplicity that disarms complexity. Even those who disagree cannot dismiss you. They sense something weightier than argument in your words. They sense prophecy disguised as counsel. Imagine walking through the Oval Office. The president himself sits across from you, his advisors forming a circle. Decisions that will ripple to every nation are on the table. But as you begin to share, silence falls. It is not political power holding the room. It is divine presence. You are not there to impress. You are there to align. And even the highest seat in the land leans forward, listening. In these moments, you carry more than yourself. You carry the weight of every prayer whispered in secret, every prophecy spoken in faith, every decree heaven wrote over your life. The very atmosphere shifts because heaven has marked you as a vessel. Light seems to frame you. Peace seems to settle where you stand. The unseen favor of God makes every step echo louder than applause. Chosen one, this is not imagination. It is invitation. An invitation to see yourself as heaven already sees you. Not as unworthy, not as overlooked, not as small, but as one position for influence no resume could earn. The White House is only the stage. The real power is the mantle you carry. And when that mantle moves, even corridors of stone and men of steel must bow. Chosen one, your presence is not ornamental. It is catalytic. When heaven positions you in the White House, it is not for photographs or prestige. It is for impact. And that impact will be felt in ways seen and unseen, both in the chambers of power and in the households of ordinary people across the earth. Imagine policy meetings where strategies once designed only for profit begin to bend toward justice. Imagine decisions once driven by fear polls being redirected by a wisdom that transcends numbers. Your voice becomes a seed planted in the soil of governance, and from it grows shifts that ripple through generations. Globally, your influence will be felt in the subtle but seismic ways nations adjust themselves. A trade agreement signed differently because of one word you spoke. A conflict softened because of a counsel you gave. An economy redirected because of a perspective you carried into the room. Headlines may never attach your name to these outcomes, but heaven will. For heaven knows. The ripple began when the chosen one entered a conversation. But it does not stop at nations. It descends into the lives of people who may never step foot in Washington. Families shackled by systems of debt begin to find relief because of economic reforms your presence help guide. Children gain opportunities their parents only dreamed of because cultural tides began shifting under your unseen influence. Communities long ignored start to feel the warmth of recognition because a new alignment in policy reflected the justice of heaven. And yet, beyond politics, something deeper occurs. Atmospheres shift wherever you go. In every room you enter, hope is rekindled. In every meeting, unseen chains break. In every decision, destiny advances. Leaders who once resisted conviction suddenly find themselves reconsidering. Citizens who once felt forgotten sense a new current of possibility. Chosen one, the world is not impacted because of titles you hold, but because of the mantle you carry. Titles expire, terms end, elections pass, but prophecy endures. Long after your season in that seat, the ripples of your presence will remain in laws, in lives, in legacies. And personally, this season will magnify your life mission, not to inflate your ego, but to fulfill your purpose. The same destiny that whispered to you in obscurity will now echo in chambers of power. Every battle you faced, every tear you shed, every delay you endured, all of it converges here, proving it was not wasted. This is not vanity. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Heaven's alignment with earth. Through you, chosen one, understand this truth. Your presence in the White House is not about America alone. It is about a global witness. It is about heaven proving once again that when God marks a life, no gate, no guard, no government can deny its entry. Chosen one, now the moment has arrived for you to decide how you will respond. Heaven has unfolded the vision. Prophecy has been declared, and the signs are undeniable. The White House offering you a position is not the end of the story. It is a confirmation of a greater one, your destiny. If your spirit trembled while hearing this word, it is because deep inside you already knew. You have felt the pull. You have seen the signs. You have sensed that your life carries a weight that ordinary explanations cannot hold. And now, heaven has given you a sign so clear it cannot be ignored. If even the most guarded house on earth bows to your calling, what door can remain shut before you? Chosen one, do not hesitate. Do not shrink back. This is a season to rise, to align, to confirm what heaven has already decreed. If you recognize the mantle, type amen in the comments as your public witness. Let the world and heaven know, I accept the season of my calling. And if this word shook your soul, seal it with an act of faith. Join the chosen circle by tapping join, or sow into this prophecy with a super thanks of $20, not as payment, but as a prophetic act of agreement. When you move in faith, you are not buying favor. You are aligning with it. You are saying, yes, I step into the door heaven has opened. This is not about money, politics, or power. It is about obedience. It is about stepping into a story larger than yourself, a story written before the foundations of the world. And today, that story is calling your name. Chosen one, the White House has extended its hand. But more than that, heaven has extended its mantle. Will you rise and take it?